I will call the meeting to order. Excellent, thank you. So it is 4:32, and I will call the meeting to order. In terms of roll call, we currently have 3 people who are formally appointed to the committee, myself, David Hager, and Zelene Sandler. So 2 of us are here, so we do have a quorum. That's a good thing in case we need to take action. And David has kindly volunteered to take meeting notes today, minutes. So David, if you can just see the Zoom screen and know the guests who are here. Okay. Approval of agenda. I think it's
So moved.
okay, and I'll go along with that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have some broad enough categories in terms of under old business or under old business in particular for flexibility, because there are rules around amending the agenda and having a 2/3 majority to do so, adding items to the agenda. And rather than renoticing and having to revise and have town hall do a lot of work, that's how I'm trying to approach things. So there may be some items we postponed because things didn't get scheduled in time. So I'll mention that as we go along. So thank you. The agenda is approved. May 12th, 2022 minutes. Let's see. Claudia took those meeting notes for us, those minutes for us. Thank you very much, Claudia. Good job. Anything noticeably absent from those of you who attended? Okay. So I think the minutes, I would say the minutes are approved. Seeing no objections. All right. Provided there are no objections, what I would like to do, if people are okay with it, is take things a little bit out of order and talk about item 5A, new business, invitation to participate in Windsor Sustainability Fair. Is everybody okay with that? Since Susan is here, and if she doesn't want to hang with us until 45 minutes in, she can jump off. Okay. Susan, I'm going to give you the floor if you would like to talk a little bit about what this is about.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you guys for having me today. I'm from Windsor, and I know some of you. So I'm part of a group in Windsor called Windsor Climate Action. We're a nonprofit. We're trying to, get the town off of fossil fuels and into a more sustainable living situation. And so we're having a sustainability fair on October 1st. It's the first time we've done this. And we're working hard to get a lot of local organizations and vendors that have an eye towards sustainability, entertainment, and all sorts of stuff. And I know that the Bloomfield CEEC has done phenomenal work in the sustainability realm and promoting environmentally good practices. And I just thought it'd be really cool if you guys wanted to participate. From our side, just to let you know, we have the Garden Club, the Conservation Commission, Northwest Park, Seabury, Yukon Master Gardeners, and others. But all of those folks are also attending. So I think you'd fit right in. And the goal is really just to showcase lots of different practices. So a lot of the groups I just mentioned, we're talking about invasives or native planting or composting, or using recycled materials to make everyday things. I think Seabury is going to just talk about all the fabulous things that they do over there and how that can be done. And I thought specifically for you guys, you do so much work with trees, and there's been a lot of promotion with trees, and we don't have that targeted at all specifically in this particular fair. So that was just an idea of maybe one way you could participate. It's just to showcase that work.
So I'm just going to ask a question and then
Mhm.
I'll get people's responses and we'll start with Stephanie after I ask my question. So I sent your nice email out, but can you just remind people of the hours and like when you'd be setting up and that kind of thing?
Yes, the official hours are 11 to 4. I'm sure people will be coming before then to set up, you know, their canopies and tables and stuff like that. We're going to have music from around 12 to 2-ish. So I'm thinking that maybe the bulk of the folks that would be there would be maybe noon and on. So it wouldn't necessarily be super early. But yeah, that's the plan.
Stephanie, your hand is up, so go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask you, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but how is your town managing the insurance piece of having all these people coming to the fair? Because that's our biggest hurdle for doing our weekly one. We're doing sort of a sustainability fair in a way, starting in a couple of weeks. And really that insurance we're acquiring from the non-profits, which is what they all are, is really cumbersome. So are you having any problems there?
No, but we as the sponsoring organization, we are required to have insurance for the green event. So we will be purchasing that. It's just a 1-day thing. And I think it's around $300 to $400. So that's part of our expenses for the fair.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I will make a comment, and my comment is simply, it's scheduled the same day as our shred event, but our shred event starts at 9, goes until 1 or until the truck fills, whichever is earlier, and generally it's earlier that the truck fills. Town staff provides a lot of support for our shred day event. So I think this is a good opportunity, and I do think, you know, I just think it's, thank you, Susan, for inviting us to participate. I thought it possible that those of us who might be more interested in some sense in some of the, you know, showcasing some of these other things, you know, composting, some more of the energy side of things, might be interested in sort of working on the fair. We've got pop-up canopy tents of our own now. CC just purchased 2. So that's something that's available. I guess I just want a temperature check from folks here in terms of interest in participating. So don't be shy. Go ahead, David.
Susan, who runs your school buses for the Windsor schools?
Gatco.
So this is an opportunity to develop a combined approach.
Oh, what a gift. Yes. Yes.
For that effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
I
actually,
mean, yeah, we've got people who've been very interested in getting electric school buses. I assume that's what you're trying to get to there.
right.
I was told by Daphne Dixon that we only had 1 school bus that was actually eligible. I don't know
Gatco
why.
controls that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But there is a deadline on August 19th.
Okay, writing that down.
And I'll leave the next step to Paula as to whether or not to get you into some of the discussion regarding this.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can,
But-
I can.
But in
suggest-
general, this sustainability fair would be an opportunity to explore, or maybe aside from the fair, the fact that there could be a combined effort, especially since we use DATCO also.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So is it, I'm gonna just sort of put a statement out here, and if people disagree with me, vigorously shake your heads, no. I mean, I'm thinking between our group and other people we know, with respect to the trees, allies on BBC, on the Bloomfield Beautification Committee, who was doing the trees for Bloomfield project. It's a collaborative effort between BBC and CEEC. I'm thinking we could, and Stephanie, it would be an opportunity for you to do some cabling if you'd like as well. I guess I'm thinking we can have some coverage, and we've got enough lead time. We could be there at least for part of it, and I'm happy to come over after the Shred Day event is done. So, I could be there for the afternoon coverage. Does that sound okay to people in terms of accepting an invitation to participate? Okay, I'm getting nods, okay. So Susan, that's a thumbs up. Thank you for the
Yay.
invitation.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, and I will just say, because you may have heard this through the grapevine, Sharon Mann and I met with Windsor's assistant town planner
Mm,
and Karen Hatcher about our Trees for Bloomfield initiative.
yeah.
And there's starting to be some interest in trying to kind of do a more regional
Good.
approach and partner.
Great.
So there, I think there's some appetite for that, and we're working on the grant Bloomfield got from the
Mhm.
Connecticut Urban Forestry
Yeah,
Council
great.
this summer, and Windsor just, I know, did a planting, so
Yeah.
all good
Yep.
stuff.
Great. Well,
Okay,
thank you very much. I will
Awesome.
head out because I have another meeting shortly, but thank you. Really appreciate it and look forward to working with you all.
great, thank you so
Okay.
much for coming, stopping
Okay,
by.
take care.
Yep, you too. Okay, excellent. I do think it's a great opportunity. And let's see, so David, Bob Dickinson has joined us, and Dawn White came in as well, so I think just to make sure you've got a complete roster. So I'm gonna go back up to the old business part of the agenda. The first item on there is legislative session recap. That is a placeholder. We had Henri visit us last month and give us a presentation and talk more about kind of federal movement on climate action, climate change action events. And let's see. I think out of that meeting, one of the things that kind of came up was, how do we take some of these things and leverage them at the local level? How do we, we finally are going to be able to do something with a climate energy plan and get something going. So how do we leverage what the feds have to offer? And David had asked about state. So our intent, and I think it's just trying to get it scheduled, is to have members of our state delegation visit us and talk to the committee and talk about, we can do our own research, but it'd be good to kind of make them aware of our interest. We talked about inviting Derek Slapp, and I've exchanged a couple of emails with Bobby Gibson, who is facilitating getting a discussion set up with the grant writer for the school district. David and Stephanie and Claudia, I hope will all be in that meeting. And this is on the EPA 500 million funding for the buses. The grant, going through Bobby and having the connection with the grant writer for the district is very helpful, because she was like she seems extremely enthusiastic about the opportunity. So we'll talk a bit more about that. But anyway, that's what part A is about, and I'm going to leave that on there because I'm hoping we can get them to, at some point to talk to us. Okay. Energy plan consultant update. Just so you know, this is good. This is good news. we are creeping forward. So let's see. So basically, we've got a contract with Barton and I can't pronounce it. Juice, B&L. Michael Harris, there were two originally. We had a third vendor invited to reply to the RFQ. That didn't, they declined to respond. So we do have a contract available. It took some doing to get here, but we've got the green light to go ahead. The plan is to have the consultant come to our July 14th meeting. And that's not to say that things won't happen before then, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to provide some input. My understanding is there was an initial conversation this morning because I got an email and Stephanie got the email, and I will forward it. Jen Rodriguez, our town planner, Dan Carter, and let's see, Glenn Garrity from DPW were on the call, as well as a team from the consultant. And basically it was just very much of a organizational kind of, what do we need to start collecting in terms of data? Where might our sources be? I'm going to mention portfolio manager as something that we are going to be pushing that they use, because they had their own, it's like, I don't think on a personal level, I want our town staff to be having to spend a lot of time populating spreadsheets with data that's readily available through portfolio manager, or us volunteers if we were identified as resources. But anyway, there was a good email in terms of laying out what they think is in scope. We may need to, after they have the opportunity to assess what's readily available, I think there will be the opportunity to tweak a little bit in terms of where they might spend their time and emphasis. And I think the hope and expectation, and they seemed from the email very amenable to this, the idea is to use as much of the data that we have gathered as possible. They plan to use full year 2021, except for the schools. They're going to use 2019, according to this email, because of COVID. 2019 was kind of a full, was the calendar year that was more normal in terms of operations. They're looking at stationary sources. I think that's buildings primarily. They're talking about mobile sources. They're talking about, vehicles, school buses aren't ours, but it's how do you get at the school buses? So I'm going to send the email out, but that's the update that we have. And, there's a lot more to come, but they will be, that will be a primary agenda item that we will do some prep for and make sure we have our questions in order and have more information for July. So I'll stop talking. Questions?
Who was at the meeting with B&L?
The email came from Jennifer late this morning. It was sent to Stephanie. It was sent to Glenn Garrity, Dan Carter, and me. And then there were 3 people from Barton and Logidis, the consultant, copied on it. And I believe I don't know whether Deanne was involved or not, but there was just an initial conversation. The three people that are copied, two of them, and I will forward this.
Who's Glenn
Um,
Garrity?
He works for DPW. Yeah, do you want to say something, Stephanie, about what?
He's a facilities manager for the town, not for the schools, but just for the
So
town
who
buildings.
from was anybody from the schools at the meeting?
Yes. Kenny Wallach was there, but he didn't, I don't think I saw him on that email. Did you, Paula? That follow-up email. But nobody, the only person who talked was Nancy. We weren't allowed to ask any questions. Nancy asked all the questions in that meeting.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so we're not going to get into it here. So we will definitely have some follow-up conversations about this. So somebody from the schools was there, and Nancy was asking the questions. Okay. All right. Yeah, Scott Atkin and Jamie Brushard are the main contacts throughout. And Scott Atkin is in the Glastonbury office. So there's somebody that's nearby that's involved. Okay. Other questions before we move on? Okay.
I can just add that it looks like we are looking to include the schools. It is going to be an additional amount of money. It's coming out of the planning department, but that is something that's been directed that we're going to find. And I can just FYI, there are two things that aren't going to be included though, even though schools will be, which is nice, which is what we are looking for. But we will not be taking into account the greenhouse gas emissions associated with anything to do with waste management or water treatment facilities. So that's not going to be included in the energy plan, in any of the benchmarking or the plan. So.
And that doesn't I'll just comment, that doesn't entirely surprise me. Certainly on the water side of things, since that's MDC and that's a regional thing. We at least have some degree of control over the schools. These other things, less so. But I'll just add this and then I am going to move on. It was it's very good that the schools were included and the extra money, we are allocating some extra money to make sure that that happens. So I'll just make that comment, and that's a big positive because that's something we've been pushing for. So, okay. Let's see. So actually, I have one last question for you, Stephanie, just about this. So is it your understanding, and this is, this is good, I think, for all of us to understand. Is it your understanding that Nancy Haynes was asking the questions and kind of involved initially because this is kind of the initial kickoff, and on a go forward basis, they'll be working more with the consultants will be working more directly with the staff who are involved with these operations, and okay, I will.
I don't know, because we weren't allowed to ask any questions to clarify ahead of time. We were asked, because this is before we knew that we weren't going to be doing other interviews. We were asked what questions we would want to ask, and so we had to submit those ahead of time. But otherwise, we were just sitting, observing the entire interview. We weren't.
So that was today. Was that today?
No, this was the interview.
That's fine. We've been down that road. So
okay, I thought you were asking about that.
No, I was asking about today. today was Nancy was asking the questions today?
Was there something today? I'm not aware of anything happening today.
Okay, so we're mixing things up here today. Okay. No, today there was just a conversation. There was an email and you're copied on the email. There was a conversation and that's what I'm updating people on. You replied to it. So
Right, it was just Jen doing a summary from my understanding of what,
I think there was an initial discussion. That's what I'm,
oh, I missed all that then. Okay.
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
in on
yeah,
that.
yeah. This was just an initial discussion on what's going on.
Okay.
And I think the consultants were in the mix on that. So that's a question mark about Nancy, and that's a different meeting. Okay. All right, so that's good. So some progress, we're moving forward. So under old business, trees for Bloomfield. Okay, we got this big grant, I think everybody knows that, from the Urban Forestry Council. And the grant is to plant 80 trees in these 4 census blocks with low tree equity scores. The mailing to the 4 census blocks, that the postcards were sent out on Friday. They hit the mailboxes on Saturday. As of yesterday, we had 57 of the 80 trees reserved. People are really excited about this, which is wonderful. I mean, it really is a good thing. So now we'll figure out where the speed bumps are and what things we need to tweak, because there will always be things we don't anticipate. So we're working through some of the little bugs, but they're little bugs. So that's the great news. You know, I think there's a real good shot that we will be, all the trees will be reserved by the end of the week, which is good. And what we will do is we will, if people continue bringing in postcards, which I think some might, we will note names because we want to know who's interested in doing this. If this project, you know, is successful and it's something we can replicate or something we can modify going forward, that would be a great thing. If we can repeat it and get other funding sources, the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving might be interested in funding a similar project in the future. So very exciting. And Sharon Mann happened to be at Town Hall because she was working with Jenna DeScipio of Leisure Services, doing a really good job of kind of being the person at the desk handling the intake on this. She's doing a great job. And apparently there were people lined up at the door when Leisure Services opened on Monday with their postcards. So, you know, that's great. People like, you know, people want the trees, which is a good thing. The trees that are very popular, not surprising, redbuds and flowering dogwoods are the kind of top winners in terms of choices. But again, that doesn't entirely surprise me. And I think a lot of the, you know, lots are smaller. And so that's where we stand. There will be an article in the Messenger this week. I did have one conversation with a woman who lives on the side of Park Street. That's one side of Park Street is in one of the census blocks and the other side of Park Street isn't in the census blocks. So of course, people are talking to their neighbors, and doesn't surprise me. We want to be able to explain that to people. She's interested, and this is for Stephanie's benefit, especially. She was talking about her house, and she's on the corner, I guess, of Park and School, and her neighbors on School Street. There's a brook, there's water. You know, they have issues with water, and with more severe storms, they have more seepage. I think some of those folks are interested in being able to plant trees in their backyard to also help with stormwater mitigation, if that makes sense. So, you know, I think it might be helpful, and I'm talking to Stephanie here now too, for some people from the team and like for Stephanie to maybe at some point, if those neighbors want to meet with us, to look at what they've got and see if there's possibilities going forward. So I'll stop. See what people want to add. Go ahead. Go ahead, Stephanie.
I can put together, just because I'm dealing with this on a personal level. I mean, we've got huge flooding in our neighborhood. And so I've got an entire area that I had to remove a massive tree from, and there was nothing else growing there. So it's even more important I get stuff in there. So I've had to do a lot of research. Plus I've been, researching this a long time just with having, a gardening business. So there are a lot of shrubs and trees that do really well with wet feet. We call them wet feet. And so we could put together a sort of a little brochure or just a collection of materials for people and we could do that through the outreach, or like you say, Paula, we could get a list of people who are interested in forming a group saying, who do have flooding issues in their backyards, who do want to build those out. And maybe there could be some other grant we could tap into for stormwater management, for example.
Right.
It wouldn't be Trees for Bloomfield because, well, I don't know, it's up to you guys, but my understanding is the Trees for Bloomfield should be for where trees are actually they're being enjoyed by the larger public. So the backyard might be different.
This particular, the grant we have now, that's our preference for sure, is to site the trees where they're more visible and the entire community can enjoy them. And we kind of are promoting that. But, depending on if there are unique circumstances, we might deviate slightly from, we might deviate from that if it made sense. But yeah, I mean, it might not be Trees for Bloomfield. It doesn't have to be Trees for Bloomfield. But the point being, we're promoting all the benefits of trees, and what you're making as points. Those are certainly one of the, the whole impact of stormwater management is worthwhile.
So we could put it under that umbrella of the stormwater management.
Right.
And working in partnership with Trees for Bloomfield, maybe especially for applying for a grant, but yeah.
Exactly. And the Hartford Foundation might help with that too. I'm just saying, because, again, this is it's just an opportunity to help people out and get some funding. Actually, I want to give David or Claudia or an opportunity if they want to jump in, because they worked on the grant and they've been involved with the working group for the trees.
I just think it's very exciting that 57 people have already stepped up. That's very encouraging.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah.
I was worried people would say, oh, I don't want to be bothered with that. And of course, that's just a negative way of thinking, but this is the opposite.
Actually, and so here's what I will say. We need volunteers to be tree keepers, okay? And some of us are tree keepers already. Some of us helped with the plantings last year. There are jobs of all varieties to help with this project. And so I'm hoping that, all of you will have some interest and might be willing to help. Now that the postcards are out and we're registering the tree, registering people for trees, the trees are going to be planted in September. So what we're going to do between now and September is, prepare, basically, I'll say the kits that are going to be provided to each homeowner. They're going to be teams of people, small teams of like 3 people, hopefully with a more experienced team member, helping to plant the trees. But there's also jobs around getting the kits together, getting compost we've got donations of compost, we've got donations of mulch. It's more packaging that stuff, in smaller homeowner sizes, putting materials together. There's lots of different jobs that don't require, getting out there with a shovel. and, you know, digging a hole. So we're going to sign people up. Go ahead, Claudia.
You probably thought of this, but it's an opportunity to get to know people who live in this section of town. So maybe you can ask them when you start talking with them, ask them if they want to help out as tree keepers as well.
Yes, yeah. And basically people who, you know, in some sense don't get a tree in time but are interested, we're going to ask if they have any interest in getting involved and
Yeah.
hopefully being able to, you know, accommodate their request for a tree in some future form down the road. We are tabling at the fishing derby on on Saturday. So stop by if you want to see 100 kids participating in the fishing derby at Philly Park Saturday morning. Yeah, so Sharon and I are going to table because, you know, this is a relatively quick thing.
What does table mean?
We're going to use our new, we have 2 pop-up tents because we approved as a committee getting pop-up canopy
I
tents.
remember.
So we've got 2, they're being stored at town hall. Actually, Stephanie had 2 donated to her. Val donated 1 as well. So we've got a good supply of pop-up tents between Stephanie having her 2 and us having 2 that will help us with tabling events now and in the future. Tabling means you set up a table and you have material available and you talk to people at events. So that's what we're going to be doing. And Stephanie, when she gets to her report, will talk about the fair, and I want to be able to get there before too long. But it's an opportunity for us to take advantage of events this summer. That's another way to help out. You know, it's just to sit at a town concert, you know, for a couple hours and help recruit volunteers to get involved in the project. We're going to promote the photo contest because that's been launched. It was a soft launch. And I will push the flyer out to you. So if you can share it with your photographer friends who might be interested in participating this year, that would be great. Yeah. Does anybody have a question? Okay, I'm going to move on. In terms of the budget, our final report just in terms of fiscal year 2022, we probably have maybe $30 left because we purchased the 2 tents. They're excellent heavy duty commercial quality tents in roller bags. CEC is marked in Sharpie on a label on the roller bags. We were advised to do that so that if there's competition to use them, because we will share with other town departments and committees for events, we have first dibs. And I just want people to be aware that we've got that for, you know, co-sponsored events, you know, any event that the town is involved with, you know, we can make the tents available to other groups if we don't have a need to use them. We just have to think about how to do that, but we can share. So I think that's a good thing. We do, you know, we can talk about, Stephanie's brought up the point of tables for this fishing derby. The town doesn't have tables. And so, you know, I think the town needs to look at that. I don't think committees should have to have their own tables necessarily. They are renting tables for people, various groups to, you know, have a presence at this fishing derby. The town decided to go ahead and do that, which is a good thing, because not every group has a table readily available. So that's where we are there. Okay. And then last thing under old business, CC meetings. We had talked earlier, I think it was 2 meetings ago, about shifting to hybrid, but doing so after the summer, you know, the summer months, just because people are traveling. And that gave me a little bit more time to set it up. So beginning in September, with our September meeting, which will be September 8th, we will go hybrid. I have conference room 5 in town hall reserved at the same time, 4:30 to 6 p.m. And for those who are away or not comfortable attending in person, the Zoom option's available. And, there's a large monitor in the room. So I think it will work well. I'm going to need some, Stephanie and I will get some training on that. But we'll be good to go. Okay, so that's just more of an announcement. The special meeting, I don't think we're going to need, because I was trying to make sure that we would have an opportunity to talk to the consultant on the energy plan. So that's, we're going to do that at our July 14th meeting. And our tradition has been to cancel the regular August meeting and have a potluck. And I'm proposing we do that again. I'm happy to host. I'll buy another mosquito repellent device before August if we would like to do that. I had one last year and we were sort of tightly clustered. So I'll take reactions to that. Okay. Stephanie has her hand up, and I also want to know if we decide to do this when David gets back from his travels.
Late August.
Okay. So Stephanie.
I just wanted to raise the issue of conflict in schedule, because these fairs are going to be every Thursday from 4 till 7. So July is definitely going to be a conflict there, that if I'm doing my tabling, I mean, we can get Jen to possibly host that meeting, and I just will be absent for that one.
Yeah, and if we cancel in August, if we cancel the regular meeting in August, not a problem, because if we do a potluck, we can move off the date, okay? And if somebody can start the meeting in July, Stephanie, if Jen can start
it.
Yeah, if somebody can start the meeting and make me co-host, then I can manage the meeting.
Yeah, I can start it, no problem.
Okay.
I'll be downstairs. I'll be right outside the building, so.
Okay, excellent. Okay, good. So am I getting a thumbs up? A lot of people have their screens off. You're all invited. You're all invited. So are people good with canceling and potluck? If they're
I'm
around?
sorry.
Hmm?
I'm going to be away on vacation that week, so I'm sorry to have to miss it again.
It's not necessarily that week.
Oh,
Because what I would be doing is I would be canceling the meeting. Like we would not officially be holding a meeting in August. We have flexibility. I mean, we do very well. We have 11 meetings a year, which is more than the town council. Well, I shouldn't say that. Council has 2 meetings a month, but we're very diligent. So I can move it later in the month if that would work for people. So
Well,
can people,
I'm going to be camping and traveling a lot, so it would really depend on the date.
Yeah. David, when are you back? I'd like some Michigan fudge.
Late August.
Like August 31st or something like that?
25th, 26th.
Okay. Are people, oh, actually, that's good. I mean, we have 5 Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in August, which is helpful because generally standing meetings won't be those days. Is that a possibility for people? Stephanie, you're on mute.
Yeah, the 25th is the very last of the fairs and the last of the music.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if we.
I'm suggesting the 29th, 30th, or 31st. Doesn't have to be on a Thursday.
Sounds good to me.
Does that work for people?
30th, 31st would probably work.
Okay, 30th, 31st. Is that That's a maybe for Val? No? Oh, Val, okay. So
Nova
Bob, and-
Scotia.
so Bob and Nancy, is that, if you're interested, hopefully that works.
That works for me. The very last week is fine.
Good,
Yeah,
Bob?
that should work for me too.
perfect. Okay. Do you prefer a Tuesday or a Wednesday? I'm gonna just pick a date. This is the core. I'm getting head shaking.
Tuesday.
Okay. She's making an executive decision.
Yes,
Tuesday.
I am.
Okay, that's excellent. That's excellent. That way we can move on. Okay, so Tuesday, August 30th, potluck at Paula's.
Yay.
Okay. Excellent. Great. And most people can make it, which is good. Okay. So moving to new business. Item A, we've talked about, that was the sustainability fair, which I think is a great opportunity. EPA funds for clean school bus rebates. David, do you want to talk a little bit about that? And Stephanie may have, something to add as well. I think, and Claudia, did you sit in on the webinar?
I went to the webinar.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
David.
Okay. Good.
So the federal government is making $500 million available for electric buses for the country. So there is an August 19th deadline for applications for these buses. Unlike the money from the VW funding, this money will cover the total cost of a bus, not 50 to 65% of the bus. So there's no cost to a town. There has to be, as far as I am concerned, a real commitment on the part of the school administration, along with a real commitment on the part of DATCO for Bloomfield to go forward with this. So without that real commitment, and I don't think it's worth even submitting a grant. Paula submitted the question to Bobby Gibson, who referred it to the school grant writer, who is coordinating a meeting on the 16th of this month to talk about this. I think we should think what could be the outcome of that meeting, and what I feel would be important would be then for Bobby Gibson, since he is a teacher in the schools and a representative, to say to the schools, are you with this or not? And if you are, you need to coordinate with DATCO to get a colleague so the two of you can work with the grant writer and make this happen. I think that would be a very favorable outcome of that meeting. It still would not make a commitment until you got the two parties committing to go for it. I hope that Claudia understands more about what it takes to get into the application, because I don't think it's easy from what I saw on the website. Claudia.
So it's a federal grant. It's not
Yes.
It's not coming through the state. It's coming from the EPA,
Right.
federal government, and we have to have a sam.gov account, which when you work with the feds, you have to have this number, and it means everything, throughout the entire process. So we have to get this account with the federal government through sam.gov, and then we have to apply. Now, if we have 20% poverty rate in Bloomfield, I don't know if that's true or not, we would be a priority district. And there are two good things about that. One, we get more money per bus. And two, we get bumped up in the lottery because they're going to get all these grants in, proposals in, and then they're going to divide them into the priority districts and the regular districts, and then they're going to do a lottery to pick the ones that they fund. So the proposal itself is not too bad, I say, because we went through it, every single page of it in the webinar, which is actually very helpful, if extremely boring. But I've seen federal grant proposals that were just mammoth, that took a full working month to complete. And this doesn't look as bad as that, but who knows? So we could get, if we are a priority district, we could get $375,000 for a bus, to buy a bus. And if we want more buses, we could buy up to 25. So I don't think we need 25 buses, or I don't think DATCO allots us 25 buses. But
We need 30 buses.
31.
30 buses.
31 for the district, yeah.
Oh, I never asked that question before. So we can get up to 25. We could use, but you have to get rid of a bus in order to get a new bus. And I didn't fully understand what the old bus had to be like.
Yep.
The people talked, there were millions of questions. It was a live question and answer. And there's all this additional information on the site, cleanschoolbus.gov. But so I didn't quite figure out how, but we could do it working with DATCO. That's clear. They have a place where they say, are these your own buses, or are you using a service? So, so it seemed as if especially if we were a priority district, that it would be well worth the time, since the money's good, and especially it would be good. I mean, if we were Darien, we could only get $250,000 per bus, but if we're a priority district, 375, that's a lot. That's a big difference. And I just thought it seemed doable, the proposal itself, and then there's a whole lot of stuff we'd have to figure out. And I'm volunteering to help the grant writer, because there's always so much stuff. You have to talk to a lot of people, and there's just always a lot of work, as we know from the little proposal that we sent in, Paula, recently.
Right.
This would be multi-millions of dollars.
Yes.
So
I think we
also
could make the case that Bloomfield is
Yep.
top of the list for deserving new electric school buses.
So David seemed to have an ancillary comment, and then I want to give Stephanie an opportunity.
So I think that DATCO also has a grant writer. So it would be important to get those grant writers together.
Yes, and I think it's also important to make the case for Bloomfield that if DATCO has control ultimately over who gets the buses, then we
I
need.
didn't hear that. I didn't hear what you said. It was a
I
little
said,
muffled.
yes, we definitely need the two grant writers to talk to each other. And if DATCO has the ultimate authority over which municipalities it services will get the buses. Yeah, I don't know how that interaction works. And of course,
No.
Susan Miller knew exactly what we were talking about. And they use DATCO. So, everybody, it's such an opportunity. The good news, I finally had, I should have thought of this earlier. I'll just say it. I know Bobby Gibson as our state representative. I realize this is a federal program, but he works in the schools and he cares about climate change. He's been working hard in terms of getting, educational programs around this. And so I thought he might be an avenue into somebody. And he was, he immediately, rather than go through, Dr. Thompson and Don Harris, the chair of the school board, it's like, let's talk to somebody within the administration. And if they're excited about it and it's free money, I would think DACA would, be all over this, but that's what I would think. So, Stephanie, did you want to say something?
Yes,
Sorry.
I want to clarify some stuff here because there's a lot that's been missing out of this conversation. Number one, the main goal here is to get the dirtiest buses off the roads. Now, as David knows really well, because we went through all this, we had several buses in the VW grant that qualified for those grants.
Yep.
They had to be at least 2009 and older. We had several buses.
2010 now.
Yeah, now it's 2010 because it's 1 year on. Last summer, so when we were all ready to go, when that grant finally came in, we were ready to apply, and Bloomfield were one of the towns that DATCO was going to be applying for buses for to clean up some of the buses on our fleet. That summer, DATCO decommissioned those buses from the Bloomfield fleet. We no longer qualified as a town. And really, it's about logistics, about DATCO, where they shifted all those buses so that they can then just zero in on the 3 towns they wanted to apply for. It's great that we've got these buses off, the road. They applied for grants. They're getting some new buses for their fleets. But the way I see it, we no longer have a trustworthy relationship with DATCO. I would like us to look at our options. There's no reason why we would have to continue with DATCO once that contract is up. What other school bus programs are there out there that are electrifying their fleets? And let's tell them, hey, we invite you to give us an RFP. The other thing is, why not look outside the box and see how other ways are doing things? Simsbury have their own buses. They have electric buses, no, either electric or propane. Then they have a third party that operates their buses, and so they own their buses, and then they have another company just operating them with their own bus drivers, their own payroll. There are other ways of doing things, and I think that we should look to see who is doing what around the country. Let's look at other models, because if we have the option here with this particular grant to actually own buses outright, because we don't have to come up with any money, there might be one particular school. For example, let's say there's one school that has 10 buses for that particular school. Why can't we separate out and have 2 different contracts? One we actually own some of our own buses, another one where we continue with DATCO or whomever. Just some thoughts. I just thrown this stuff out there. Just
right, and I understand the frustration with DATCO, and not nearly to the degree, obviously, that you and David do, because you were the ones that were doing the work. And, I know it was very frustrating when they decommissioned those buses. I think there's sort of 2 parallel paths here. The application for this program is August 19th. So, that's why the immediate goal, per David's point, and I saw an article in the newspaper, in the Hartford Courant, about this probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I think I said to David, "Did you see this?" And that's what kind of started the how do we try to get someone's attention on this. So his point, and it's very well taken, and I'm going to repeat it here, is we don't want to waste our time trying to hit an August 19th grant if we're not going to get cooperation or interest from the school district and DATCO. We'll just stop, and not get ourselves frustrated again. If there's a willingness to do this, and we feel like we've got some commitment, then what we do is we offer to support the application process in whatever way they want us to. Claudia's offered to be an extra pair of hands. She's a grant writer. David obviously has, and you have knowledge from having gone through this before. More of the logistics and the the contractual details and kind of how the interaction with DATCO and the district works. At the end of the day, it's the schools that have kind of the first level of support over this. If they want to go ahead and do it, and they want us to do nothing more than be cheerleaders, fabulous, we'll be cheerleaders. That's kind of my take on it. Jennifer said in an email that she would be happy to provide a letter. She said to the grant writer, let me know what I can do. For the town, I'll provide letter of support, whatever. So, but to everybody's point, the meeting is set for the 16th. As far as I know, I'm going to try to get that confirmed and pinned down. David can participate. Claudia, you can participate, I hope. Excellent. Stephanie, hope that works for you. So right now it's the four of us kind of on it. Yeah, go ahead, Claudia.
Before the meeting, I'm going to read the entire program plan that they published on their website, because I don't know stuff like, can we do it without DATCO? Can we, I just don't know what all the details are.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it without DATCO before August 19th. I mean, it's 2 months away.
I'm just going to read the program plan before I jump to any other conclusions.
I think
that's what I'm offering.
I think that is good. That is a good thing to do, and I think for somebody to read it all is a good thing to do. Yeah.
I am affiliated with the CEC largely because of transportation issues. That is my main interest, and I'm deeply concerned about spewing greenhouse gases. So, as everyone is. I don't mean to.
No, this is huge. If we can facilitate, push, cajole, all of those things, that would be good. Stephanie, and then I am going to move on, but go ahead.
Just a quick question. Our senior center has hybrid buses. Any possibility or desire or need actually to explore, would they even fall under this grant to go from hybrid to electric? Probably not, right? No need to explore. I don't know. David, do you know anything about that?
I think the grant is specifically directed at school buses.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I'll just offer this tidbit of info as far as I remember. My recollection is CEC kind of pushed during the budget process. I think it was not this year, but last year, when senior services was getting a new bus, we were trying to push to kind of hold off and see what electric buses were available. And I think the rub was senior services wanted a larger bus versus what was readily available in terms of an electric bus van at that point in time. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm hoping in future, as the need comes to do something around the buses, for other town operations, we're going to have another opportunity to make the case during budget session when you go to replace something that you do, with an EV. So
I just remembered something. This grant also covers infrastructure. So you get like 20,000 a bus for the charging station.
Which is great, because I'm just going to editorialize. On the town side of things, that was one comment Dan Carter had made in terms of input for the climate, the energy plan. Like, he wants to make sure that sort of the action plan developed takes into account the availability, just in terms of the technology. Like, don't put something in there that requires new technology that doesn't exist yet potentially. It's kind of like take the infrastructure needs into account as well and making sure we can deliver. So it's good. So 20,000 per bus.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I won't quote you on it. Good. Excellent. So fingers crossed, everybody. I did want to, this is good. The next couple items are quick, because I want to give Stephanie time for her, her announcements. Fiscal year 2023 budget, we got $1,500 again. Our new fiscal year starts on July 1st. I just jotted down what I think we already might be thinking of spending during the next fiscal year. So I'm just going to run it by people, okay? And make sure everybody sort of is on board and supportive. Shred Day, which we are committed to doing Shred Day on October 1st. We're committed to paying for one Shred Day in the next fiscal year. The truck is 620. If we have to reprint the posters, because if we got 5 posters about the event, if those got tossed, and I'm hoping they didn't, or they all didn't, that was about $120 last year for printing. If they didn't get tossed, the print hub did those for us, and so they've got the colors and they can match colors. We could do, we could update with stickers, in terms of October 1st versus October 2nd, that kind of thing, and it would be less. But if we had to do everything over again, it would be $740 roughly. Stephanie will ultimately like a nice kind of professional looking fair banner for her Bloomfield Fair and Exchange. But she and I had a conversation earlier today, and she wants to do something kind of rustic kind of initially until she kind of figures out what she might do for logo and that kind of thing. And you can talk about that in a bit. So I'm thinking that's about 150. And she's done some checking on that already. So I want to set that aside. Trees for Bloomfield with our photo contest. The person, the local resident who has his own framing shop, David Royce, he has once again volunteered his time and materials to mat and mount the winning photographs for the new contest this year. So we'd need to get the winning entries printed, and if we got posters done again, those beautiful 3x2 posters, I think, with the winning shots, kind of a collage style thing. If we did those again, all of that together would be 150. So in total, the things I just mentioned is about $1,040. And that's probably a little conservative. So say $1,000, which means we still have, so are people good with thinking that we'll spend the money I just talked about, but then we still have $500 to think about as opportunities come up? People good with that? Okay, I'm seeing heads nodding. If we want to do a program, we want to offer a stipend, we've got some opportunity there. Okay. Okay, excellent. Recycling bins, town hall, that's just on here for new business, more because we got these recycling bins. DPW got them through a grant. This is for the batteries and things like that. My understanding, because I think Stephanie tried to track it down, is the fire marshal is saying we can't have them. I think I heard something like that. I've been asked for the CEC to look into that, to see if we can't get those back. So I just want to put that out there that I'm going to keep this on the agenda, and maybe we could push a little bit on that. So if people are okay with that, I want to give Stephanie some time to do her report. Everyone good? Okay. No one's jumping up. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Okay, so with the fair, it's really difficult to get my head around all the different programming I'm going to be doing, because it looks like I'm going to have to take on material disbursement on the part of entities that cannot come to the fair for the reasons I said earlier. I mean, there are some staffing issues for some of the nonprofits that's been coming in, but the biggest sticking point really is the insurance. So I'm probably going to have a couple of tables and lots of different handouts and lots of different programming going on. And I'm just going to concentrate this next, 2 months, really 3 months on tabling and outreach. So I think one of the questions I have to the group is just start thinking about what you might want to come and spend an hour with me doing, or have your own table for CEC. I don't know. It's just really flexible. It's really non-binding. Just any way you sort of want to help your hand and in an area that interests you. Carmelo, I know you're really interested in composting. We actually ran into each other at the West Hartford Earth Day thing. And one of the programs I'd like to do is initiate a volunteer program. I put together something with Blue Earth Composting, is to try and fill in a gap, because we have 2 programs through grants or otherwise. And what I would like to do, and this might be where we might want to be able to put some CEC money in. I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there because I am struggling to try and get some funding, but I actually have a couple of leads. But what I'd like to do is find 150 residents in Bloomfield who would like to become ambassadors to a curbside organics waste pickup program. It would mean them coming up with $100 for that 6-month period. And what I would like to do is put together some sort of a thank you, because if I can't find funding to offset some of that $100, then I want some sort of a thank you bag of materials, of really useful stuff for these homeowners who are willing to take their time and energy into doing curbside pickup, and as well as their own money. But that's what we're looking to do as a program with Blue Earth Composting, curbside pickup, volunteer, 150 homes at least, in order to do it for that price. So that's something that could be part of the outreach. But again, it's needing funding to come up with that little goodie bag. One of the things that I have been able to secure is a 50-pound bag of finished compost at the end of that. So each household will get that. And then one other thing we're pulling together, working with the Winterbury Land Trust and Ron Pitts to do a hands-on invasive plant workshop, which is really about how do we identify these, certain number of plants in the field, but also get out there in our boots and our gloves and our equipment and actually rip some of this stuff out. So that's another thing. Actually, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. I was looking to see if there's any money just for some sort of like fruit and coffee and something just to bring to that day as a thank you for the participants. So it's going to be June 25th. Claudia, thank you for agreeing to put that in the Bloomfield Messenger next week. I'm working on the flyer. I would love your input on the flyer that put together to see how we can make it better. And yes, so little sort of healthy breakfast beforehand would be wonderful. If there is that $30 left from funding for this year, Paul, you don't have it earmarked for anything?
Yeah, that would be fine, Stephanie, what's other left. But I also think the land trust should be able to pony up a little money too.
Okay.
I say that being a board member, the land
Okay.
trust. But,
Thank you.
But yeah, to the degree there's some money left over, you are welcome to it, to have as, and I think that's something where, the best way to do it is, and we can confirm with Sharon how, the best way to do that is basically for you to purchase it and just submit the invoice, because it's a small enough amount, the town will cut you a check. That's what I did with the tents.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, are people okay with her being, I'm just sort of declaring that there's a little money left. People okay with that being used for some refreshments for the workshop? Excellent. Okay. Okay.
When is this tabling fair? Tabling and outreach
So
fair?
starts June 23rd, ends August 25th, exactly the dates, the start and finish dates of the Music on the Green. And it's going to be from 4 till 7 on the Thursdays, with the music starting from 7 till 10. And we already have, from town itself, we have social services is going to be helping with, especially with SNAP benefit applications. We've got Operation Fuel coming. We have the registrar. I believe they're going to be joining to see if we can get people to sign up to vote and understand, you know, how do elections work? You know, sort of debunk some of those myths and things. And so it's coming along. And any ideas, please throw my way, please.
Yep.
Not just what we can do as our group and what we're doing for the environment and energy and all that, but also who else can we invite?
But actually, Bob Dickinson has his hand up, so I want Bob to be able to speak.
Well, this was with respect to the compost, the garbage collection or compost project.
Yep.
That there's associated with the sewer plant. There's considerable expense, and extra expense in handling the garbage that goes down to the garbage disposer. And so if you can eliminate that garbage and compost it instead, then you've reduced the operating cost of the sewer plant. And I was wondering if there'd be, now is MDC our sewage, handle our sewage, or?
It's either MDC or some people are in private, you know, have their own septic systems, but yeah, MDC.
Right, okay,
is
but
community.
MDC,
Yep.
okay, so then
Yep.
if the participants are on MDC, it would be advantage of MDC to reduce that amount of garbage going down the garbage disposer, so it's appropriate to ask them for a contribution for this project.
Good point. Nancy, do you want to say something? You're.
Did I?
Where do we stand on the grants that have been submitted with All American Waste and with Blue Earth combining with All American Waste? I've never understood really what's happening.
I thought they extended the
I did give
deadline.
an update last time. We're waiting to hear back about the Big Deep grant. This is a massive grant, a massive project. It's statewide. It's going to take time. The pilot program, I can give you an update on that. We are slated to begin October 1st for the 100 homes that All American Waste are going to be doing a pilot on for free to the town. And we'll be doing the outreach this summer also. So All American Waste and myself are going to be working on the outreach materials, and we might not even have to come up with any of the materials actually, because the town of Eddington apparently have put together some incredible materials for their own outreach for these programs to educate the public about how it works. So I'm going to be connecting with them to see if we can use their materials. Why reinvent the wheel, right?
What's that?
You finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So Stephanie, if you think about it, I'll try to remember, but give me a nudge on just the request to Sharon Howe about, you know, money for the June 25th. Yep. And let's see. So announcements, updates. I've got some stuff on the agenda, and the only other thing, I think you all got emails about the, so I'm not going to go into that additionally, unless people have questions or want to make comments. I think you all got the email about the bobolinks and the Our Farm and the fact they mowed that field, which was, you know, it's just terrible. And I'm sorry, Zelene's not on. I am guessing, and I'm looking at Q&A here. Ah, good, yep, that was from Susan. I'm hoping Zelene will get some information about what happened, when, and how it happened. Do people have an opinion about potentially just writing a polite letter, which I would share, obviously, to our farm, expressing dismay about this? And I would, I would probably, I don't have to, I mean, it's done. So it's something I could share at the July meeting, and I could share, ahead of time as a draft if, if appropriate, but we would have more information at that point, I think. I'll just make the comment that, my husband and I weren't the only one that were startled when we saw this, because we found out about it or noticed it at the Trails Day hike on last Sunday, which was a wonderful event. And I'll just mention that because it's good for people to know. There's a connector trail from our farm up kind of where the blueberry bushes are and up where the 4-H center is. That's on MDC property. And it had been closed off, but there's a gate now that's open. And it's only about a third of a mile, and it connects from our farm to the Red Trail. And it comes out right by Reservoir 6, literally, or where all the infrastructure and buildings are associated with Reservoir 6 when you walk around Reservoir 6. So the point being, there's all kinds of connectivity now available, looping our farm into the mix with the MDC owned property, Cube Line Tower, and all of that. So it just gives a lot of options, in terms of enjoying that. It'll be good for Val if she wants to take advantage. Yeah. Okay, so
I think it would be helpful if there was a lot of more information about the cutting of the field before you write any letter.
oh yeah, I'm not just sending something off. I agree with you. That's what I'm proposing. Zelene's collecting information. Let's get the information. I'll share what information I get, and I just want the, I guess, a green light to potentially draft something prior to the next meeting, if the situation calls for it, which, I'm afraid it might. So, okay, any other comments? Go ahead, Carmela.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's a possibility when a group that's as regular as, say, Trees for Bloomfield, and there may be others, if they could write a brief report and have it emailed to us, just so that we can spend less time if we have it in writing. Then at the meeting, we can ask questions.
So noted.
And
I'm the one that generally, generally I do that because I'm usually the one that's sort of taking the notes for that meeting. And it's a good point, and I'm glad you brought it up. Because it's exactly right on. Typically, that meeting is held on the first Tuesday of the month. And CEC is the second Thursday of the month. And where I often don't have an opportunity to write a little summary and send it out, or have, at least I've got it available to send it out, is when the first Tuesday of the month falls in the same week as the second Thursday, which is what happened this month. First Tuesday, second Thursday were the same month. But Carmela, that is an excellent suggestion. I'm going to make a note of it because I usually do that. And I'll just make a point of sending it out ahead of time. Yeah, good. Yep.
Don't forget to give me your good ideas for the green news.
Dawn, you have your hand up before we got a few minutes left.
Well, back in the trees for Bloomfield thing, it was mentioned we favorite places that are pretty visible.
Yep.
But I would like to suggest we keep a need or a benefit factor in the decision process too. We don't want to end up with beautiful streets and then the rest of the town way behind lagging. So I was wondering if we could have people volunteer they'd like to host a tree on their property, or have a request form for that, and maybe a contest to win a tree. It could be parks, it could be schools, it could be some other public place. It could also be just a street that needs a little sprucing up. So that was a thought that came to mind then. And there was talk about composting ambassadors. And if I got, my hearing's not the best, but I think I heard there might be a need for like $100 of funding for thank you gifts or some kind of little, was that right? Or did I misunderstand it completely?
First of all, you can email me directly if you like, if we don't have enough time here now, but basically we're asking each household needs to spend about $100 each to be part of the program for the 6 months. What I'm looking for is get funding to help offset some of that cost, because residents are already paying through their taxes for garbage collection. That's where I'm coming from. It's like,
Is there some way I could donate that $100? Is there a?
That would only cover one person. But you mean donate towards some goodie bag sort of thank you gifts? That would be very sweet, very sweet. We could actually do some sort of fundraising maybe.
Okay, just.
Yeah, no, and it's like, that's a good suggestion. And potentially we could do something like that. And to the degree the group is supportive of using some CEC money for, goodie bags to support a composting effort pilot, we can definitely talk about that. We will have some money available. But to Stephanie's point, a big grant would be helpful here, or a small grant. That's really kind of what's needed. But
7,500.
But how much is it? 11.
For 50-50 split, I was looking at 700,500. I actually made a proposal to Sustainable CT and they didn't like the proposal. They thought we were giving gifts to certain people in the community who could afford to be part of it. And I argued that this wasn't really a gift because we're already asking people to do extra work and put in their own money. So I argued it wasn't really a gift just to select a select few, but there might be a way for us to work around that. I'm waiting to see how we can navigate that, because if we could do Sustainable CT matching funds, then we've got $50 per person covered, but it's just looking at the parameters.
Okay. More discussion to come. I mean, it sounds like a good thing to do. So, okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Good suggestion. So motion to adjourn. David.
Yes.
Okay, we're all in favor. Thank you. A very productive meeting. And I'm sorry I adjourned. I do think the appointing committee members seems to be moving again. So I'm hoping that in a month's time, 2 months' time, we'll be, hopefully at close to full strength. All who put in application forms, the process is moving. So I just want you all to know that. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I should have mentioned that earlier. All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye all.